So I wonder what it would be like if we just did like a cold intro, just like not like some sort of, like in like I basically have a script that I read off of my mind to do an intro, but instead just like start talking and see what happens.
I mean, kind of like what we're doing right now.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Like we could, like, we are the Cutie Art Crusaders, and this is episode 180.
But like we don't need to say that right up front, right?
Right. Like I guess because we started the show being very professional, and I like to think that we are professional, but at the same time, like sometimes we get lazy and don't want to do professional. And I feel like today is one of those days.
But like SNL does cold intros too, and they're professional somewhat.
Right.
Well, they used to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Did you know? First of all, the one thing that the other intro does really well is it does introduce people and their voices, which is really, really nice.
That's true.
Like, I am Rainbow Plasma, and you are
Flutter Guy,
and we're the only two people on the podcast this week.
Yeah.
But like, so like that does it really well, and I really like doing that, and I think that's been a really good thing that we do with the planned intros.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, maybe sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. So are you thinking about like trying this? Like, maybe like.
Well, no, like this is what we're recording right now, so.
Oh, I know. I was setting you up for a joke of something, but.
I actually, it's funny. Like as I was sitting here and like looking at the episode number, I just remembered back to 100 episodes ago. Do you remember what we did 100 episodes ago in episode 80?
I don't remember episode 80. I remember 90 through 100 was the characters and stuff.
Right. So episode 80, I remember because it was about 2 years ago, because 2 years is 104 episodes basically. But it was about 2 years ago because 80 rhymed with CAC, and that's when I did my Armageddon intro for Burned. In my apartment, I sang that like I don't want to close my eyes thing for the intro.
That's right.
And freaked out Burned. and it's because like one of the lines was episode 80.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it. I guess it is like 2 years. It's 2 years later because it was January 14, 2014. Yeah, that was another lyric from there. All right, well now we can go back and listen to episode 80 again. Wow, that is basically 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Time flies.
Episode 90 was our crab battle part 2. That was awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you just like looking that up now, or do you remember that off the top of
your
head?
No, I'm looking it up now.
I was going to say, because if you remember that off the top of the head, that's pretty impressive, because like 90 being crab battle isn't exactly like... There are some of them that are pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? Like episode 63 was Rule 63, so that was easy to remember.
Yeah.
Episode 25 and 26 were the fan art episodes.
Uh-huh.
And those are a big deal. So like I can remember a couple of them.
Yeah.
But that would be what was our crab battle, the first one?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
We didn't do them back to back.
No, not by a long shot.
No.
I think it was episode 43.
43. Wow, that's so long ago.
I know.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I still remember being like, "What the heck is this Burned?" Like,
that's true. But that was after Value though, because after Value, we trusted Burned to be able. That was, I think, the crab battle was the next one.
We trusted him. We weren't sure he was still sane though. At that point.
Yeah. But like I remember I had a conversation with Burned and I said, "Look, Burned, if you want to do an episode and organize it yourself, that's fine. But like if you like screw it up, then like it's going to be hard to like give you another opportunity to do that." Something like that. That sounds really bad. But like I said it in a nicer way than that. And then he did the Value episode, and I was like, okay, if you ever want to do an episode again, then feel free. And I think that's where he did the crab battle one.
Yeah.
Burned isn't here this week, and neither is Joel.
No.
Burned is off at a convention. I don't remember which one it is, and
it's
really...
Comic-Con West or something like that.
Cool. I was going to say, because I'm really too lazy to look it up. He's off on the West Coast somewhere, and...
It's confusing because like there's a PonyCon on the West Coast, which I believe is in LA or something. No, it's maybe not in LA. I can't remember exactly where it is. And then there's a PonyCon New York City next month.
Are there too many pony conventions?
I mean, I'm hosting a pony convention in my apartment right now, so maybe.
I don't know. I guess that's a question for another day.
Yeah.
And Joel
So-
is, I don't know where Joel is. So
Leave your comments in the comment section below.
I don't
how
know.
you
I
feel.
feel like that's like a long discussion we can have about like the number of pony conventions there are.
Yeah, but that's for a later date and
yeah.
a later time.
And yeah, again, Joel, I don't know where he is. He was just like, I'm not here this week, so I think he's visiting Nezagoring.
He is visiting Nazagoring.
That's right. Okay, I did remember.
Slightly jealous.
I was only a bad friend for a couple of hours where I couldn't remember, but now I did. I remembered.
Joel, he's a good friend.
Well, yeah. I always mock you guys for forgetting where I go whenever I'm gone. So
Yeah.
the least I can do is attempt to remember where other people go.
Yeah.
We're recording this on a Saturday. Speaking of like we were talking about weird episodes and weird intros like we did this week. Like we're recording this on like Saturday at like noon.
Yeah, this is completely abnormal for us.
Yeah. So like normally we record on Friday nights, like pretty consistently. But we couldn't like, this week.
Yeah.
Because you had a thing.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend who like he works on like refineries and stuff like all over the world. So like he was in New Zealand for like 4 months and like Russia for like 6 months and stuff. So he's like he bounces all over the place. And so like he rarely gets time off to like come and see people. But he tries to come out like once a year. And so he was like, "Hey, I have free time." Like this is like I want to say 3 or 4 days ago, so it was like really last minute.
Right.
So he was like, "Hey, I have time. Like, I want to come out and see you." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And he's like, "Well, Friday is going to be the best for me because I can get a plane and stuff." And it's like, "Okay, well,
sure."
Yeah. So, hey Max, you want to record on Saturday?
But like, where did you meet this guy? Like,
he was my roommate in college.
Okay.
Year. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense because I was like, you know, he's traveling all over the world. Has he been doing this for years and you just like met him at some point or like? No, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah. No. So and actually, one of my other roommates lives close by, so we met up with him last night. So we kind of all had a big reunion thing.
Have I met your other roommate or is that
CJ?
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't remember if CJ was your roommate or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Matt is down in Jersey, so
right. Yeah. So yeah, we couldn't record on Friday, and so normally we would record on Saturday night because that's our like backup. The reason why we record at night is because Joel lives in Australia, and so we have to record basically around 6 p.m. Eastern. So that's 6 p.m. Eastern. So that works for us, Ted and I, and then it also works for Bern because it's at 3 p.m. and for whatever reason that works for him. And it's also anywhere from 8 to 9 a.m. in the morning for Joel. So like there's like a couple of hours in there where it's not too late for us, but it's not too early for Joel.
Yeah.
So like, but I can't do Saturday night today because I have a party that I'm going to tonight, which I'll talk about in a minute. And so we were like, what are we going to do? So we thought about maybe doing it on Thursday night, and then we realized that we could just do Saturday morning because we didn't have to actually worry about Joel at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could record this because, okay, well, I guess we can't record it too early because Bern doesn't wake up that early.
Bern doesn't work until until like noon.
Yeah, he doesn't wake up until, well, let's be honest, he doesn't wake up until like 2:30.
That's true. Yeah. He rolls out of bed and starts recording.
He does. Yeah. Joel is up before Bern is, and Joel lives like 16 hours ahead of Bern. Mm-hmm. So that's something. I don't even know how to like think about that. But yeah, so we realized that we could, I guess because it's just the two of us, we could record at like any time we wanted to because both of us keep pretty good sleep schedules and are on the same time zone.
Yeah.
So that works.
Well, especially because you've started school again, so you now have to get up early and
yeah. For only 2 days though. But yeah, I do like to, now that I've gotten back into school as of September, like I do want to like keep my sleep schedule back to, I don't know, my sleep schedule has been early because I worked for 16 months, right? So I had to get up early because I had to be at work from anywhere from 8:30 to 9. So I've always had to like, for like the last 2 years, I've had to be up pretty early. So I've just tried to keep that going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, you want to talk about your party?
yeah. So I've got this party tonight, and the reason why I want to talk about it was like the summer of it is great because it's a role play party. like so I was really confused by this. So I had a couple of friends who I went to university with, and I still go to university, but I kind of lost touch with them because I took a year off or 16 months off to do co-op, which is just working while you're at school. And so obviously they went on, and some of them graduated and stuff like that. Whereas now I'm back at school. So one of the friends that I had just randomly out of the blue, his birthday is actually today as we're recording, and he sent me a message, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to? Would you be interested in coming out to a party on Saturday?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Like that's of course. It's your birthday. Absolutely, I'd come out to that. Thank you for inviting me. Because I haven't really talked to him in like 4 months or something like that, And so then he's like, okay, cool. Well, some guy is going to message you on Facebook and send you some instructions. And I was like, okay, sure. And so anyways, I get this friend request from this guy, and then he sends me a message, and he's like, apparently he runs this thing in Ottawa called Way Out West. And it's this role play game where there's something online called murder mysteries.
Yeah.
And it's this scenario where you're given a character ahead of time along with a bunch of information about the scenario that you're supposed to be role playing. And you walk to this place and you basically play out for 3 hours. You play out this scenario where you have this character, and this character's got secret goals. They've got a secret. They've got clues to solving the murder mystery, but they've also got alternative information that they want to find out. And you win by achieving these certain goals for your character. And like some characters will win and some characters will lose, and it depends on like how well you do versus how other people do, and how well you keep your secrets and stuff like that. You've got like special abilities and other stuff like that, and it seems to be, I don't really know too much about it. Like I don't know if, like, most people aren't even going to show up in costume. They just suggest like certain attire to like make it seem like you're a certain character. But I don't even know how it's going to go. I don't know if we walk up and we're supposed to be immediately in character. I don't know if we walk up and then like the scenario starts, or we're probably given some background on it. But it's like, it sounds really cool. And as someone who enjoys like acting casually, like I think it'd be like super fun to do. So I'm actually like really, really excited for it. After we stop recording, like my entire day is going to be like set up for this party tonight.
Yeah. So. That sounds like it's going to be super fun.
Yeah, I'll definitely like update you guys next week with like what it actually was. So.
Yeah. Like I've heard about stuff like that. Mostly just from online, and also there's like the whole escape the room kind of thing.
I did that. I did that as well. Did I ever tell you guys about that?
I think you touched briefly on it, but
the like both concepts I love. Like I don't know where they came from, but like it's really awesome. And I think they came out of a certain necessity of like nowadays we've got so many screens and like we're staring at them all the time, and like we're always indoors. To like have an activity you can go out with friends and like do in the world.
Yeah.
And while you're still doing things that remind you of like video games and stuff,
Yeah.
So it's I'm really excited for it.
Whatever happened to laser tag?
yeah, that's true. Laser tag. Yeah. Some people still go laser tag and go karting, but you just need to live somewhere where that's like close by.
Yeah, where there's a thing, because like I guess the other things you could do basically wherever.
Laser tag to me is like, you live in a like small to medium town, and there's like 3 things that you do as a young adult, and like one of the things is like laser tag, just because it happens to be one of the 3 things. Because like if you're in a big city, like you live in Boston, I live in Ottawa, there's other stuff to do if you want to do stuff. Like laser tag is kind of like, it's just laser tag,
Yeah.
Whereas if you live in like a smaller town, it's like, it's just laser tag, but it's either that or we go bowling for like the 50th time.
Yeah. But there's extreme bowling.
Extreme bowling. So yeah, that's why we're recording. That's not why we're recording why we are right now, because we're just talking. But that's why we're recording when we're recording.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting to do it earlier in the day. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel refreshed, even though I didn't have any coffee this morning.
Although somehow we've managed to schedule it perfectly at mealtime again.
Oh, I know.
We always do it in such a way that we're always eating when I should be eating dinner. So by the time if I don't eat before, which is most of the time, I always end up like super hungry by the end. I'm eating by like 8:30 or 9.
Yeah.
And now we're recording and it's literally noon right now.
Yep, it's lunchtime right now.
Like I'm gonna it's gonna be like 1 or 2 by the time I actually start eating and stuff. So
yeah,
we need to schedule these better.
I'm going to a board game cafe actually for a late lunch.
Oh yeah, that's
today,
cool.
Yeah, because
board game
my
cafes
friend...
are another one of those things.
Mm-hmm,
like now you forces you to go out and actually interact with people.
Yeah. So my friend he spent the night. He's spending the night again, and my other friend who lives in the area is coming in, and we're going to the cafe. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Also, before we move on to the art, we laid out a whole bunch of points in our Google Doc, and mine just says Ted's friends and stuff. And
Ted has friends, yay!
Yeah.
What's the stuff then? Because you got friends. What's the stuff?
I don't know what the stuff is.
Well, this podcast is just going to be like us talking, and then occasionally there'll be art stuff. So what did you do last night? Did you go to like a bar? Did you?
Yeah. Well,
you sent me a Snapchat, but I don't.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went to a so CJ, my friend who lives in the area, knows someone who has keys to one of the buildings at Harvard.
That's cool.
So we kind of met up with a whole bunch of people there, and we watched this really bad old Japanese movie.
Okay.
It was
as
like
you do at Harvard.
Yeah. Well, it was a bad movie night, so we all sat around drinking and watching this bad movie. And
okay.
What's the old show? It was like something 3000. It was
Mystery
like a show.
Science Theater.
Mystery Science
3000.
Theater 3000. Yes.
Yeah. Where you just mock it while it's actually going on.
Yeah. So it's like it was like a monster thing, and every once in a while there'd be like a liquid monster, and it was just like the most absurd thing ever. So we were just like bashing it and critiquing it and like drinking, and it was fun.
Yeah.
And then we ended up walking back from Harvard. So we took the bus there, and then we walked back, which was like an hour-long walk.
But like at some point, you sent me a Snapchat of a Street Fighter 2 arcade machine.
That was in a bubble tea place, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, that seems a bit random.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you like bubble tea?
Yeah.
I don't like bubble tea.
I'm sorry.
It's just I don't know. Maybe I had bad bubble tea, but I had bubble tea in Ottawa, downtown Ottawa, in La Market, and I don't get it.
Yeah, we got bubble tea together.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only time I've had bubble tea. I don't get it. I don't get it. Did you like that bubble tea? Was that bubble tea bad or good or fine or?
It was okay. Like you have to have the right bubble tea, and like the one that I had last night was okay as well. I could have used more flavor, but.
Do you remember like the bubbles would just go like up the straw, and it's just like, but you're supposed to like eat them, but they're gross.
I mean, they're tapioca bubbles. So
then maybe it's just not for me.
Yeah, maybe.
Seems gross to me. I just want to drink something and not have something like gooey and chewy appear in my mouth sometimes. Okay, I just want to drink my drink and not have to worry about that kind of stuff.
That seems so unlike you, though.
It's just I feel like that is a very fair complaint. I feel like
that's true.
There's just something that there's an instinct when you're like drinking an okay, it's like a tea drink. I'm not a huge fan of tea, but it's like, okay, this is fine. Yeah. It's like mango or something I remember getting. And then all of a sudden it's like this gelatin ball thing, and you're wondering if there's something like an alien that's suddenly gotten into your drink, and you go like, bah!
Oh, see, I actively seek out the tapioca balls in the drink.
Maybe I just need to do it. Maybe it's because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Maybe I need to go back again and knowingly go for those and see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
See, the one that I had last night, I got black tea bubble tea.
Okay.
And the black tea was not steeped long enough, so there wasn't enough flavor. So it was literally just like a weak tea with bubbles in it. So it was like,
Right. That's kind of how I felt about the ones that we had though, because the flavor itself wasn't that strong.
Yeah.
And so if I remember correctly, it was cold with it was almost no, it wasn't. Anyways, it just didn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
but the problem is that like I like water, right? Like I like the taste of water. I like
Yeah.
drinking water. So like I would rather just have water than like something that's like slightly tastes off, because to me when something just like very slightly tastes like something, it's like,
Yeah.
ugh, you know, like what is this? Like I'm
Yeah,
not
it
drinking
throws you
water,
off.
but what is this?
Yeah.
So like I had that, and then the tapioca. I don't know, man. Like
It's like if I'm
it's just not
drinking
for me.
lemonade, I want the full on like sour
Yes.
in your mouth
Yes, you
lemonade.
don't want watered down lemonade because it's worse than lemonade and it's worse than water.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I agree. 100%. That's a really good metaphor.
Yes.
Or simile or whatever.
I thought long and hard about that actually.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good.
So we should probably throw up some art on the screen.
Yeah, sure, why not?
So
You can throw up some bubble tea on the screen. People can understand what that. You know what? I just joked about that. You should probably legitimately edit bubble tea at some point, a picture of it, so people know what the heck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because like I've described it in a really gross way. I don't think it's actually gross. I just think it's like not for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like a history kind of thing, I think.
Is it?
But yeah, well, it pops up in like college towns. I hadn't heard about it until a few years ago.
You should
and then
text
it's just
Bernd and see what he thinks of bubble tea. And if he says that it's like, oh yeah, it's the best, then it's most definitely a hipster thing. Yeah.
or maybe where he is in Portland is like so far hipstery, like beyond bubble tea now.
Right, like bubble tea is too mainstream.
Yeah, bubble tea was their thing, like 10
Like
years
10
ago.
years ago. Yeah. Exactly.
And now it can no longer
now
be
it's
there.
like drinks with sugar cubes in them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or salt licks.
Or salt licks. I was just thinking that. Yeah, salty drinks. That's the thing
Yeah.
that Bernd loves. Salty drinks. So my art piece this week that we're gonna skim about for a little bit is called "So Much Life" by Shaman Guli, and it's this really beautiful nature scene that they've drawn with a Fluttershy stuck in the middle, and I really enjoyed this one because it reminded me of a story. Funnily enough, that we're immediately going to stop talking about the art and start talking about stories again. But it reminded me of the story. So there's a park downtown Ottawa, and it's this beautiful, beautiful park that I love walking through, and I used to spend a lot of time there. And it's like right next to Parliament Hill, and I think I walked you through it, maybe Ted.
Possibly.
And it's like it overlooks like the end of the canal and this huge Ottawa River, and like across the way you can see Parliament, all this kind of stuff. It's beautiful in the summer, like it's green. There's lots of people there, lots of grass. Very clean, a great atmosphere, all that kind of stuff. It was really really nice. But in the winter, nobody goes there. It's covered in snow. It's kind of like foggy and like all the leaves are off the trees. But the other day, like before Christmas, I went down there and I was walking around, and this is before the snow fell in Ottawa, so it was just like a gross kind of like misty, cloudy, rainy day. And the thing that I thought was incredible was that the park was still beautiful. It was just beautiful in like a different way.
Yeah.
It wasn't beautiful in like the flowers are blooming and all that kind of stuff, but it was almost like almost like misty and mysterious, and like but still kind of like hauntingly beautiful with the trees with their leaves and the light coming through the mist and all that kind of stuff. It still looked really beautiful. And that kind of reminds me of what this scene is, because this scene, it isn't a traditionally beautiful landscape, right? Like you're kind of in like a swampier area, like there's a bunch of moss in the middle and these trees that are in the foreground and the background. Like a lot of them are missing leaves, and if they don't have leaves, they have these kind of like weird buddy things. And so like this isn't like a traditional, beautiful landscape with fields of green grass and wild animals strutting about. This is kind of an uglier scene, but I still think the way that it's depicted is quite beautiful.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that like swamps are kind of beautiful in their own way, and it's not like you were saying. It's not in a typical way that you would think like, flowers are blooming and like life is everywhere. It's like it's fairly dead in this piece. Like Fluttershy is one of the few things that are like, well, one of the few animals that you see, I guess. There's a whole bunch of like plant life and stuff, but it's like the piece is still alive because like there is like plant life, and it's very pretty.
Yeah, there's certain scenes that stick out to me, like in nature, that might not be necessarily, you know, good or lifelike or things like that, but they still stand out because there's a certain element of like it's breathtaking, it's diverse, and it's so unique that
Mm-hmm.
it's very cool to see.
Yeah.
And I think in the right light, then swamps can become like that. A lot of times swamps can just look like blah, you know. But if you get the right light, you get some mist going in there. You get some light
Yeah.
coming in. You know, you got what he's depicted here in the middle is you've got this like fog coming in, this yellowish fog coming off. You've got the interesting lighting colors. There's like reds and yellows and things
Greens.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that are kind of like changing. So it's not just like this brown, because I think just the brown swamp is pretty bleh. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you inject some color into there with light or different plants, that's where you start getting an interesting looking scene.
Yeah. This actually reminds me of by my parents' house. There is kind of a swampy area, uh, like kind of near one of the highways there, and it doesn't look like this most of the time. Like there's not a lot of fog and stuff. It's so it like it's fairly dead. Like there's some dead trees in it and stuff, but it's still like so mystical and like it's so otherworldly that it's like it's very beautiful.
And you know the thing about this scene too, like artistic from an artistic perspective too, it's very interesting because there's simultaneously I feel like there's a lot of detail, but when you look at the individual parts of it, they're fundamentally lacking in detail,
Mm-hmm.
or lacking in definition rather. If you take a look at the leaves, they're just kind of like splotches
Yeah.
of splotches of digital paint that are kind of spread around, and the background isn't exactly well defined in terms of the shift in value. A lot of the values are quite similar. Now, of course, that is meant to be like that to give a bit of atmospheric perspective and to flatten the background out. And the contrast in value between the foreground and background is really great. But when you look at the piece as a whole, there's so much definition in things like the plants underneath where Fluttershy is standing and the stuff in the foreground. But each one of those things is just like not something that is spent like a tremendous amount of time of. It's very rough. You can see the brushstrokes in it,
Hmm.
which I don't know. It's kind of like an interesting. Like it's simultaneous. Like there's not a lot of definition, but when it's done a lot, it gives a lot of definition.
Yeah. Well, and like I guess it's interesting because the definition or detail is not kind of focused in one place. Like you'd think that Fluttershy would be the focus of this piece, but she's not really that more well defined, and there's not really any lighting cues to kind of put your focus on her. It's really like more about the scenery, and she's just kind of placed in there as a pony, as a onlooker to this beautiful environment.
There's also a lot of different brushstrokes I was noticing as well.
Hmm.
So the branches and the trees are all, especially on the left hand side, are all done in kind of this smoother, this sharper brush to contrast against the more gray atmospheric background. The leaves themselves are a bit lighter and like a fatter brush that's done there. But then
Mm-hmm.
you have a lot of like thin little swipes in the middle for like the mossy stuff like that. You've got very wispy strokes with the mist going through the middle. So there's like lots of different brushes that are used, and they're all rough in their own ways, but there is a lot of different brushes, which is interesting to me.
Yeah. You're gonna hate me for using this term, but painterly.
Oh no, I hate myself for using the word interesting.
What happened? That used to be my term.
It still is, trust me. So yeah, I mean, I found this piece very interesting to look at. God damn it! All right.
Yep. Can I make a reference?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You don't need permission.
I cannot look at this piece and not think Vespine gas from StarCraft.
I didn't play StarCraft.
Really?
So cool story, bro.
All right. So anyone else who has played StarCraft in the chat will probably get that.
Is it? Let me take a shot in the dark here. Is it a yellowy greeny gas?
Yes, it's a resource in the game. That's yellow green gas.
10 points to me.
It's so memey too. Like it's become this big thing.
Oh yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not the meme lord, so I wouldn't be able to.
You're just the butt lord.
I know. Exactly. Exactly. Cool. All right. Well, let's move on to yours then.
Oh wait, I wanted to say one more thing.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
And that is that if you look in the background, like the really far background, like it's almost white. Like there's this grayish white like covering on the ground and on the trees and stuff like that. And it kind of makes me wonder if like in this scene, like it's a wintry scene, but this like swamp is like somehow like a warm like haven oasis in the snow, and Fluttershy just kind of stumbled upon it.
It's like it's like a strange. It's a strange oasis, much like the actual definition of an oasis, which is the water in the middle of a desert.
Yeah.
In a way, here in the middle of a snowy forest, you've got this kind of like heat, maybe like underground volcanic activity that's causing like boiling water and heating up the surrounding area.
That's actually magic, man.
No, I see. Really, really hot magic.
Yeah.
So
hot magma.
Yeah, magma.
Magma.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting thought, and I hadn't really. Now that you mention it, I do notice in the background. That's kind of that would be cool to think about. That'd be cool to kind of cool like scenario that you've made there.
Yeah, and I don't know like if Shaman Guli intended that, but it's kind of a cool concept.
Well, sometimes I look at these things and I don't want the artist to flesh out more because it's fun to have your own interpretation. And when the artist comes out and is like, "No, it was actually this," it's kind of like, "Oh, well, okay."
Yeah.
So,
cool. All right. So we'll move on to the next piece, which is called "Holiday Shy" by Pearl Pavani, and this is a piece of Fluttershy inside her cottage. Looking out the window at a wonderful wintry scene where it's kind of snowing. There's birds. The trees have no leaves because it's all snowy, and she's got like a cup of hot chocolate.
This was released literally an hour ago.
I know. I'm so happy.
That's crazy.
I like because I got up in the morning, and usually in the morning my routine is check my DeviantArt notifications and favorite any art that and it's like this popped up and it was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna feature that.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. I really like the scene. I think it's cute. I think it's a cute concept for a setting because I could imagine Fluttershy waking up in the morning being all groggy and but happy, like happy groggy with her coffee or tea or hot chocolate or whatever, and like just enjoying nature.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of the feeling that you get kind of when you go home for like vacation for like Christmas or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I'm a university student, so you go home for like a week or so, and there's not really much to do. You're waking up, and there's just snow outside, and you kind of saunter downstairs at 11, and maybe you'll have food then, but it's very quiet and serene, and you don't have a lot of responsibilities, and so you're kind of just like happily bopping around in the morning. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. Like it's almost like she just like woke up and she's like, I've got nothing to do today because I'm on holidays. So
I'm jealous though. Her hair is perfect. Mine is never like that in the morning.
Yeah, it's true. Then again, you don't have quite as long hair as Fluttershy. So
that's true. Yeah.
And just because it's vacation doesn't mean you don't shower. So who knows?
She's still in her PJs.
Well, sometimes after you shower, you get right back into your PJs because you still have nothing to do that day. So.
Yeah. Or her slightly less dangerous mission outfit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very nice scene. It definitely brings up the memories of exactly what I just described, and I really enjoy the piece for that. It kind of, I think it does a really good job of conveying a certain scenario and a certain feeling that's associated with that scenario that might be a little bit different for each person, but there's a general feeling about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that is kind of underrated in a lot of art pieces, the ability to invoke memories in the average person who looks at it. I mean, not everyone is going to have memories invoked by looking at it, but if you can get like the average person, like the majority of people, to look at it and be reminded of something, I think there's a certain skill that is the ability to do that, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I also really like the brush that he used for like the outlines on this. It's like almost like a crayon or colored pencil kind of feel to it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like it's used well in place because like there are a few different brushes for like the outlines and the details and stuff like that, but like it gives it a traditional kind of feel, and it's almost like I don't know. I think like that kind of adds to the emotional impact of the piece as well because it's like it's a little rough, like it's just like, you know, it's a morning thing.
Well, and also crayons give a certain childish,
Yeah.
or childlike rather, appeal to it, and so, you know, maybe the memories that it might invoke a little bit more childlike memories, like when you woke up on Christmas morning or something, or you know, you woke up to the first snowfall when you were a kid, if you lived in places that had snow.
Yeah.
And so I think it definitely gives off a certain vibe that reminds me of childhood and things like that. So
Yeah.
I think it was a really interesting choice, especially because the brush was only used for the outlines and not for like the color. Because if it was used everywhere, then it would just look like someone like drew it with a crayon, which might not look as good. But it's only used for the outlines, which I thought was a really interesting touch because I haven't seen someone, you know, we've seen people mess with line thickness, line colors, lots of lines, no lines. I don't remember any particular standout examples of someone directly messing with line, just like line brush style.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's very cool.
Well, it's interesting too because like it's only used for things that are inside. And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it just like it's almost like a comfort kind of thing, like, you know, it's or a warmth kind of thing. It's like you're in the warm house. These are like, you know, the brushes that are used on outlines of things that are in the warm house, and
Right, whereas
maybe
the things well, no, but the things outside don't have the same brush.
Yeah.
The same brush is not used at all on the outside. Even in the snow, like you see there's snow on the windowsill.
Yeah.
There's no crayon brush for that either, and like that's close to us, right? So it's
Yeah.
not a matter of depth, but it's still outside, and so
Yeah.
it's yeah, you're right. It does give a certain sense of warmth there. You know, I do get a sense of warmth for this piece in general because of the juxtaposition of you being inside and the hot chocolate being warm compared to outside, which you can clearly see is cold. You've got a bit of snow going by. It's very hard to see, but in the top windows you can see kind of snow going by lightly.
Yeah.
But also just obviously the snow on the ground too.
Yeah, and even in the color choices too. Like the outside is all cool colors, blues and whites and stuff, and then inside it's, you know, it's the wood, so it's
very
brown.
warm brown, very warm brown, which I like.
Yeah, and then Fluttershy, of course, is yellow and pink, warm colors. But then her pajamas are like blue, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, but
colored.
I would argue that it's one of the warmer blues.
Yeah.
Because you can see it shifting into purple a lot.
Yeah.
And it is kind of hard to see, but in the darker areas, you know, if you take a look at, you know, right above her wings, there's like this darker area near her back, and it's like that's a very purple. It's got a lot of warm tones mixed in with it, and so it kind of, it doesn't make me feel like it's a necessarily cool color throughout, right?
Yeah.
It obviously is a cool color, but like, and also when you get the blue, you really get big contrasts with Fluttershy's colors, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily complementary colors, but you've got warm versus cool, right? So it really emphasizes how warm she actually is. Her onesie might not be warm colored, but she is warm colored, therefore she is warm. We get the association of the onesies making her warm. You feel warm. It even though there's a cool color for the majority of her character, somehow she comes off as warm because of these things.
Yeah, it makes me want one of those onesies. Honestly.
I don't want a onesie.
No.
Everybody around me is getting onesies, and I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Is that a hipstery thing too? Should we ask Bern about
No,
that?
I don't think it's a hipstery thing, because like it's like my parents are getting onesies, and like my roommates are getting onesies, and I just don't get it.
Snuggies though, Snuggies are like amazingly warm, and
onesies and ankle socks. Those are the two things I don't understand. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, good job on the art piece. I thought it was very nice, and I thought the temperature of the piece was a very interesting thing to explore that we haven't really talked about too much before.
Yeah. Theme.
Cool.
Cool. So do we want to like go back into just our talking about stuff, or do we want to move on to some
We're
questions?
just going to questions and prompt us to talk about stuff.
Okay.
I mean, we basically start with an art one.
Yeah.
And then move on from there.
Yeah. So the first question is there a piece of art, painting, drawing, sculpture, etc., you, if no money was no problem, would really love to have? By Sonnenblitz. And I am going to go ahead and say I would love to have The Thinker by Rodin. The sculpture.
That's a sculpture. I was like,
yeah.
Geez, how do you fit that into your apartment?
I mean, it is a fairly large sculpture. And actually, he made many of those sculptures because he basically like cast it and then like made it out of different materials and stuff. So there is no like single thinker sculpture.
So is there like one marble thinker and one wood thinker and one?
There's no wood thinker, but there's like brass and iron. I think there's brass and iron and like.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Bronze. I think there's a bronze one.
What if he made like a really, really solid cast and then he poured like magma into it and then, like, he let it cool into like a nice obsidian?
Dude, that would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
I have my next Minecraft project ahead of me.
I like
an obsidian.
So I'm trying to remember if obsidian is what I'm thinking of here, but yeah, it is. So obsidian in Minecraft looks so much less cool to me than obsidian that I've seen.
It's true, yeah.
Because like the obsidian that I've seen is like just dark as night black. And that's so cool to me this season. But also like very shiny and glossy, right? Like incredibly glossy. And so like when I see stuff like that, when I saw that in person at first, I was like, oh, that's super cool. In Minecraft, it's like not really glossy and it's like purple.
Yeah.
Like it's a dark purple, but let's be honest, it's purple.
Yeah.
So like I'm not really a huge fan of the Minecraft obsidian.
No, like real life obsidian is so much better.
Right, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
What would I get? So I don't really know a lot of like I'm not really like an art person outside of pony stuff. So I don't really have like a huge amount of things that like I would buy if money like I don't look up $1 million stuff a lot. So I will say like from my experience, the one that I would probably be most likely to buy was the art piece that I've talked about like 3 or 4 times on this podcast, which is the like more modern art. It's like a regular painting canvas and it's 2 colors, yellow and red, and they're split not quite down the middle but slightly off. And the split angle is like 1 degree shifted, and it's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable because like the colors are so vivid, and it's cut down the middle, but not quite, and it's a horizontal line, but not quite perfectly horizontal, and so all of those things combined are supposed to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable about it, like something's a little bit off, because it is a little bit off. And I really enjoyed the way that piece made me feel, so I would probably get something like that. But I don't even know if that's like worth a lot of money or not. Like maybe I could buy it right now. But like, yeah, I would, if I had to pick one art piece, I think that would be a cool one to have because I'd love explaining it to people.
Yeah, it's a conversation starter.
Exactly.
How about that, like the red piece that we saw in that
No,
museum?
Absolutely not. That was so... I've seen that piece like 3 or 4 times. I've gone to the art gallery like 3 or 4 times in Ottawa. That piece is such a... If you live in Ottawa... Go to the art gallery, go to the modern art section. There's a couple of pieces in there that are just... There's like one that's just called like red number 14. It's literally like it's like someone took paint on their hands and just smeared it on a canvas.
Yep.
Paid thousands of dollars to put it in a museum. There's also that one with the ice cream. Do you remember the ice cream truck topper? It was called like Wizard's Journey or something. Yes. Yeah. There's some interesting modern art, that's for sure. Oh, yeah. No, I know exactly which one I would have. Yeah. Okay, so I don't remember if this was in the Ottawa one, but in some museum that I saw, there was this glass cube, and it was filled with water, and the water inside it would condensate into like little clouds at the top of the cube, and it was something that was like sturdy enough that you could like sit on. So like, you know how cool it would be to have like a seat that was like this glass cube full of water that was like condensating and turning into like little clouds? Like, I don't know how they did it, and I'm not sure if this is like completely accurate, but I'm pretty sure like the way that it worked was like it would like form clouds and then like have like little like rain or like water would drip down the side and then it would form clouds again. Like it was super cool.
That's so cool.
So that would be something else that I would buy. I'm
I
sure it's like
wonder-
a common thing, like it's a something box or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm guessing that it's probably not like straight water in there. It's probably something with a lower like vaporization point.
Yeah,
or evaporating
probably.
Point. But that'd be so cool if you had like chairs like that were like that like around a table.
right.
That'd be cool. Or
Yeah,
if you
I don't
had
know.
a
I don't know
table
if it's
like
called
that.
like if it's called like it's not an evaporation, but I'm trying to Google it
Yeah.
so I can like figure. It's called a condensation box.
Ah.
So if you Google condensation box, you'll see kind of what I'm talking. Or like the first couple of images you'll get are like this like glass cube thing, and the one that I saw at the art gallery
that's
was super
cool.
cool. So,
Man,
anyways,
that looks awesome.
I might do that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You should just get like some plexiglass and make one yourself.
it's way too lazy to do that. Also, I would have no place to put it, so
Yeah.
I already have like way too much stuff for the small amount of space that I have in my room, so I don't need more big stuff.
Yeah. It's plexiglass and water
Bam.
sculpture. That's at the where is this at? The Barcelona Museum of Contemporary Art.
Well, I've never been to Barcelona, so
It's
don't know
probably-
where I remember it from.
It's probably moved.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Did you see the Barcelona condensation cube?
Well, it was in Barcelona. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Yeah,
What's
I'm
the
trying to
next
think.
question?
Like the only other piece. No, I think Thinker Rodin.
I think yours is good. Yeah.
I like. I would want a water lily from Monet, but they're huge.
Right.
They take up entire rooms.
I feel like for me, I would want something modern art, but that's usually just because like modern art is either like really big hit or really big miss for me.
Yeah.
You know, like I went to this is probably in the Ottawa. This is probably in the Ottawa art gallery as well. But there was another one where it was two big blank walls, you know, that went up maybe 15, 20 feet in the up, and painted on it. It was like a corner, so it came to a point, and painted on the two walls were these massive, big black circles, like from floor to ceiling, just circles, big black circles. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to walk towards the corner at like a 45-degree angle, if the walls are at a 90-degree angle, right? So you're supposed to like walk into the corner. And what the circles do is they make you feel really uncomfortable because it looks like something's looming over you.
Oh.
And so as you walk closer, like the walls seem to like almost like tilt down into you.
Yeah.
And so you get you almost like shrink. You watch people like walk towards it, and they almost like shrink because they feel like it's like an instinct that they have. I thought that was super cool. I wouldn't want that in my house.
Yeah.
It would require an entire room just for that stupid demonstration. But like
Yeah.
that was like modern art for me is either like this is a piece of crap or this is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Man,
probably what modern art is like for a lot of people. So
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking like if we can include art installations, like there was a cool installation I saw online of some guy like basically took a whole bunch of metal plates and had like solenoids on the top of them that would like bang on them, and then they hooked it up to like a brainwave scanner kind of thing. And so, like, depending on what people were thinking, like, well, they wore the headset, the brain scan headset thing, like, the pattern would change and stuff, and that was pretty cool.
I think it's amazing that there are things called brainwaves and that we can actually read them.
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
It seems like something that should happen in the future,
Yeah.
but it's happening now, so that is pretty cool.
All right. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This one is by a late customer. And it is Sunshine Smiles, Electroshock, Caramel Curve, and Bright Ember. What kind of homes do they have? For example, Fluttershy has a cottage, Pinky rents her place from the cakes, Dashy has her huge cloud mansion, and Twilight had a tree, R.I.P. Golden Oaks Library.
No, she has a bigger
but
tree.
now she has a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so basically we're supposed to give our characters houses in
Yeah.
or just houses in general.
We thought this would be fun because Bernd and Joel aren't here, and we can give them houses.
So we have to do theirs first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Joel lives in the sky because he's constantly flying. That was easy. Because he always mentioned he was a Pegasus because he would just be constantly flying. He would never touch the ground.
But I would imagine he's like in some sort of electric storm house.
Right, he's in like a storm cloud or something.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
It's so like a constant rave in there. He's like
So he just constantly lives in like a thunder cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
Burned,
I feel like would have to have like some old school like library style mansion with like
a log cabin with like Lincoln logs that like he didn't build, but someone did.
Yeah. And he has a big like lazy boy chair in it that he just like sits there and like sips his brandy or something.
Sips his brandy.
Yeah. Right? Like, or is that too like fancy and hipstery?
I don't know. I'm trying to think, because like Burned would live. I'm trying to just like relate it back to where he lives right now, because Burned lives in like the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But like it's a pretty big house because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's why I'm imagining like he lives in some sort of big, almost like chalet, but like it's got to have that like hipstery vibe to it. So it's like a nice like Lincoln log house, something with a bit of history behind it, but like way modernized. Like everything on the inside is like pretty high tech.
Yeah.
He's got to have like rooms for like art galleries and stuff like that. So basically, Burned lives in like a log mansion.
Yeah.
That's what I would imagine.
I could see that.
Yeah.
So he's got like that whole old/new thing going on.
Exactly. Old on the outside, new on the inside.
Yeah. Kind of like him.
I was about to say that, but I was like, I don't think that makes sense.
I mean, it doesn't, but
all right. So what kind of house would you have?
What kind of house would I have? I don't know. I feel like Caramel Curve would probably have like the stereotypical like American dream kind of house with the white picket fence, the little garden, like the small house, but like it's enough like for
right
for to live in comfortably and
right.
Yeah. I personally would not want that, but
Yeah, see, this is the difficulty because like I like nothing about my OC and the canon of my OC has anything to do with like what they would like in a house.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Something modern. I like modern houses, so
yeah.
Like that's the closest thing I can come. Like I all of my canon like that I've made for my character has nothing to do with like preferences that would indicate any sort of house preference.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like even I can't even come up with something that's like I can't even come up with something that would be like cool but like not viable in real life because of temperature issues, but because she's a temperature pony, it wouldn't matter.
I have an idea. How about like a house? Well, I mean the house
Don't say
itself.
an igloo, please God.
No. The house itself doesn't like it doesn't really matter here, but it's the location, like on a Hawaiian island near a volcano, but like near the ocean too. So you get like the hot volcanic stuff.
See. Okay.
With the cool ocean.
Okay.
And you've got like some sort of like
a hammock, just a hammock
just a hammock there, yeah.
Yeah.
With a
really
palm
nice.
tree above you, yeah. Oh my God.
Really nice. It's January 9th when we're recording this, 12th when it's coming out. It doesn't matter. Both days are going to be really cold. So that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
That sounds really nice. All right, yeah, I like that. On an island somewhere, on like a Caribbean island with a volcano. So you get the hot mountain air, and the cool ocean.
Can I come and visit?
Yeah, sure. I've got plenty of trees to hang hammocks on.
Sweet.
Awesome. That sounds really nice.
Do you have a guest hammock?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
I'm up for that. I like that.
Cool. Do we want to do the third one?
Yeah, let's do it. The third one's my favorite question, so we're not skipping that one.
No, yeah. This is by Nazagoring. And it says, if you were given the power to never need to eat, would you take it? The catch is that all food from then on out would taste disgusting to you.
Right. So like if like everybody would take the like power of not needing to eat.
Yeah.
Everybody would take that like easy. Like but then people would just say, oh yeah, but I'd eat like I'd taste stuff when I want to, you know, like I'd eat like bacon every once in a while, not because I need to, because it's fun to eat, right?
Yeah.
Because eating is nice, like things taste good, and like your brain goes, ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
but this is really difficult because now it's like you can't eat food again.
Yeah. Or like
I'm gonna
you
go
could,
ahead and
but it would
say,
just like be really bad tasting.
and this also accounts for like drinks and stuff, right?
But like
how?
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But like, would it affect your sense of smell too? So like, if you smelled roses, would that also like smell disgusting? Because like,
so I'm gonna go ahead and say no, just because
Okay.
I think that would be unfair. Because like the point of the downside is it's supposed to cancel out the good side,
Right.
But smell, there's a lot of smell that like has nothing to do with taste, right?
That's
like
true, yeah.
there's lots of things that smell good but don't taste good, and I know that smell and taste are associated, but I just think that's a bit of an unfair downside.
Right.
That like doesn't have anything to do with like canceling out the good. It's just like an extra bit of bad, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, smells fine.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell, like for food, it'll smell good, but then when you taste it, it doesn't taste good. So that kind of sucks.
Right.
But like other things smell good, like nice shampoos will smell fine, and roses will smell fine, and things like that.
Yeah.
So
what would you do? I'm curious.
it's really difficult. But I think I would still take it.
Yeah.
And the reason is not just because like eating is inconvenient and I suck at like doing it. But okay, well now I'm thinking about it, I'm actually regretting making that decision even more. But like the other upside would be that you would save a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because like think about it, when you're living on your own, you've got like two expenses that I would say are the most necessary expenses. And that is food expenses and rent, right? And so like, but those are also like the two usually most expensive expenses as well. So if you're not eating, you're certainly saving a lot of money. So like that's a big upside. But I was also thinking, well, eating is sometimes a social activity.
Yeah.
So like eating with friends, maybe like what do you do on dates? You can't go out to dinner because then you're just sitting there watching the other person eat.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure a person could get used to that, but I would feel weird if I went out somewhere and I was the only one eating and I just had someone watching me eat.
Well, especially if like that only affects you. Like if it's not like a social kind of, like if this affected the whole world, where it's like you can choose to have like everyone in the world not need to eat, but everyone
right, like it just changes the world.
It changes, social things. But like if it's just you, then you feel like so awkward on dates and stuff. Like
yeah, like you just feel awkward in general because like you know you have like Thanksgiving dinner. And it's just like you're sitting around and it's kind of like you're the only one not eating. And like if you've ever had a dinner with like someone not eating for whatever weird reason, then it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could get used to it because it would be something that it would be weird at first, but then eventually people would get over it.
Yeah.
Like your family and your friends would just know that like this is something that you don't do.
Yeah.
So like it's no longer weird, and it might be like a funny weird thing to like explain to people. But like lots of people go through other like disabilities and weird stuff that they have that like has similar consequences, you know? So I would do it. I would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do it.
I think I'm going to go with the opposite. Like I would love to be able to save the money, and I would love to not have to eat, because sometimes it's a chore and it's like boring, and it's like, oh great, I just got home from work, like I have to cook myself food and stuff.
Right.
And it's like but I still like, there are those meals that just like taste fantastic, and like a lot of my memories kind of revolve around food. So like Super Bowl parties and stuff like that, it's all like, you know, around the whole social aspect of food, and I don't think I could like necessarily get used to giving that up.
Right.
So, yeah.
Eating good tasting food is one of life's kind of like simpler pleasures. And so yeah, that it would be difficult. I definitely wouldn't legitimately make the decision in 3 minutes like we did here.
Yeah.
I would have to like think about it for like a long time. But I think at the end of the day, I think part of it too is, as I've always mentioned before, I'm too curious a person. So I don't think I would be able to, like, even if the effects are permanent, you could never go back. I think I would be too curious to find out what it was like to not have to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and just like what that whole experience was like, and like to learn about the social implications of that as well. It's like I've always said with with friends whenever it's brought up. Like, if you had like a button that, like, let's say you're male and like it changes you to female, or the other way around, or whatever you want to describe that scenario as, right? Like, and you had the button to push it and you would change you permanently, would you do it? Most people will say no. A lot of people would be like, I'd do it for a day or a week or a year or something like that, and like that would be fine. But the longer the time goes on, the more they go, I don't know if I could do it. My base curiosity, I'm fine with being male. I love it. Like, it's great. I enjoy it. Like, it's who I am. Like, I wouldn't, like, it's not that I want to change because I think that, whatever, like, there's no reason there. It's just more like my base curiosity. There'd be no way that I couldn't press that button. Yeah. Even if it was permanent and I could never change back. Like, I would have to push it because I was too curious about it. Yeah, and I feel like what it would come down to at the end, the tipping point for me on the food thing would be exactly that. Yeah. Like, I would be too curious to figure out, like, what could I do with my time and my money, right, when I didn't have to eat all the time. Yeah. Just be too curious about it.
Also, like, I guess you'd be curious about, like, how disgusting it would taste.
Right, like what would it really be like how, maybe, I don't know, I would have to have some sort of guarantee for the smell thing, because if it made all smells disgusting as well, like, that's something that constantly affects you. Yeah, and that would affect a lot more than just like some social stuff. Like, that would be pretty difficult to deal with. So I'd have to have some sort of guarantee there. If I didn't have a guarantee, I wouldn't do it. There's too much risk there. Yeah. But if I could have that smell guarantee, I would do it. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I thought it was a super interesting question. I thought it was a super interesting comparison, because, as I mentioned before, the smell thing is unfair because it's like an unrelated consequence. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, would you press a button that will make you immortal, but you have no money? Yeah. Or it's something that's like unrelated, like, but you can only eat cheese, and it's like, that's not really related, you know, like it's only tangentially related. Then half the time it doesn't really, like, the consequent, like, these kind of good questions are really good if the downside like counteracts some of the good side. Yeah. So
I've been watching a lot of Markiplier lately, and he's been playing like these I can't remember the exact name of it. It's like
it's like there's like a flash game. Yeah, it's like a flash game with a button thing.
Yeah, and so people can send in their things, and it's exactly like this. It's like, would you push the button, like, if you would you, I don't know,
be really good at dancing, but you had to dance all the time. You were standing.
Yeah. Or like be a really good singer, but you couldn't actually speak in a normal voice.
But you couldn't speak, you just had to sing all the time. Yeah. See, those are good. Like, those are really good comparisons. Yeah. Because it's like, the downside directly counteracts the good side. But I know there's also a bunch of them out there that are just dumb. Yeah. Like, you can draw amazingly, but you don't have feet. It's like, what?
Well, if you draw with your feet, then
if it said, you draw amazingly, but you can only draw with your feet. Yeah. That would be more interesting. Yeah. That would be directly related. Or you can draw really well, but you don't have hands. Yeah. And you have to draw with like either your feet or your mouth. Yeah. Whatever you choose to draw with, you draw great, but you don't have hands.
You're a pony at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. You get transferred into the MLP universe, but you're a villain.
Yeah. So. I would take that.
So yeah, it's like, I like those kind of questions better than like the random stupid ones. Like, you have a really attractive face, but you also can't use pencils. Like, like, I don't know. So yeah.
I thought of a really mean one. You get transferred.
Is it about burned?
No. You get transferred into the pony universe, the MLP universe, but you're an Earth pony.
But you have nothing special about you.
You have no cutie mark, and you're an adult.
Wow.
Sorry, Earth ponies.
Well, I guess this was a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 minutes of talking, 20 minutes of arting, and 20 minutes of questions.
Yay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I did too. This is
5 minutes of reflecting on that.
How do you guys think we did? Rate, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Be very clear with your enunciation there.
Yeah.
So
yes.
rate, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we've been thinking about doing more podcast style, like just banter stuff for a while. So I don't know. I literally came up with the idea on the spot as we pressed record. So
yeah,
it
worked out.
let us know what you guys think about that. I don't know. Depending on how we feel, we might do more stuff like that, or might revert back to the old stuff or things like that. I don't know. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
We actually had stuff to talk about, which is cool because we've always like thought about like could we actually just talk for an hour? And I feel like today has proven that we probably could have done the full hour.
Yeah.
We did 40 minutes out of 60 without art prompts. So we could probably do a full hour.
Yeah.
Especially with more people. Yeah. Right? Especially with Burned.
Oh my God. No, Burned would be a half
fill
hour.
Another 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. We have an hour and 20 minutes with Burned. So
yeah. And then Joel would insert his witty quips here and there and make everyone crack up. So.
Right. So that'd be like what? Like an hour and 21 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, I guess that's everything.
Yeah.
Let's go through the plugs.
Okay. So Joel has written this out. I should do that. I should use that so I don't stumble.
We got a Picardo.tv. We got a Picardo.tv. Look at me. I'm a genius. That was like instant karma. Like not even like karma for me being like you're being too slow, and I get immediately smacked back for that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, that was like reverse karma. That was like back in time karma. Anyhow, you can find us on picardo.tv/Cutie Art Crusaders. That's where we stream. We have cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com, cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com. Send us in questions because we are getting low. youtube.com/cutieartcrusaders, cutieartcrusaders.tumblr.com, facebook.com/cutieartcrusaders, and @cutieartcrusade on the Twitterverse.
If you want to send in like those kind of questions that Nazagoring sent in this week, then feel free to.
Yeah.
Like that. I think those would be fun.
Otherwise, we have to revert to that Flash game next week. And
we're not playing that Flash game.
Good.
It's low effort content.
That's true.
But
yeah.
if you guys have questions like those, then feel free to send them in. But we are actually getting low on questions. Like legitimately this time we are getting very low on questions.
Yeah, we have like 10 left.
We've said in the past we were getting low on questions around like 20 questions. Now we have like 10. Yeah. 11 maybe.
Granted, like we haven't had Joel here, so like there could still be questions in the Google.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually check
Gmail.
if there was any new ones.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh well.
This is the kind of thing that Joel does.
Yep.
So
cool.
So, yeah. Anyways, that's everything for this week, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a really good time.
Mm-hmm, me too.
Although I am hungry. And I need to go to the bathroom. And I need to prepare for a party tonight. So
yeah, I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I'm ready for board games. So
let's get out of here. So without further ado, my name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm PhotoGuy317.
Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.